Hello everyone. Welcome back to Aviation 360. In India, there are more than 30 flying schools. You can find a list of all the flying clubs from the link provided in the description below. So, amongst these, which flying club to select for your pilot training? There are various factors to consider before choosing a flying school, such as fees, aircrafts, duration, location, quality of training, accommodation facilities, etc. In this video, we will guide you on how to select a best flying school for you, considering these parameters. At the end of this video there will be a bonus tip about the best flying school of India. So, do watch till the end. Let us begin with the video. First, costs. Let's face a fact that, to be a commercial pilot is a costly affair. So, one of the most important factors to consider is the finance, or the cost required to be a commercial pilot. Flying training in India ranges from 10 lakhs to 55 lakhs. The main reason for this extreme difference in flying fees is because some of the flying clubs are government-owned. Some are funded by a trust, while some are operated by a private entity. Usually, the flying cost is calculated on per-hour basis, that is the fees you pay to fly the aircraft for 1 hour. For example, a flying club having flying rate of 15,000 rupees per hour, the total fees will range from 30 to 35 lakhs for 200 hours of training. You should also make sure that there are no unwanted hidden costs charged by the flying school. So, one should consider their budget before finalizing the flying school. The second factor to consider is the number of aircrafts, their average age, instructor to student ratio, and the type of cockpit. These factors are important as they will ultimately decide the total flying training duration. The more the number of aircraft a flying school has, the more likely it would be for you to complete the flying training early. You should also take note of the active fleet amongst the total number of aircraft. Sometimes, it can also happen that out of the total number of aircraft, most are unserviceable. This could also affect the total duration of your flying training. Instructor to student ratio means that number of students a single instructor has to train. If there are more students for a particular instructor, then it would take a longer duration to complete your training. For good and fast training, as a rule of thumb, the school should have 1 aircraft per 6 to 8 students. Hence, the ratio of the number of aircrafts, instructors and students is a ruling point in deciding the total duration of your flying training. On an average, in India, it takes from 10 to 30 months to complete the flying training. Third, location. Location of the flying school is also one of the important factors which you should take into consideration. Weather is a phenomenon on which no one has control upon. Minimum 5 kilometers of visibility is required for a training flight. Some flying clubs are in areas where there is dense fog during winters, which affects the training. Training is also affected in regions where there is heavy rainfall. Flying clubs are usually located on or near a controlled aerodrome or at remote locations. Both have their own pros and cons. One of the advantages of a flying club situated at or near a controlled airport when compared to an uncontrolled aerodrome is, you get to communicate with an actual air traffic controller and other aircrafts in the vicinity, which would help you in the future. But, at the same time, it is a possibility that flying training at such locations may take longer duration to complete, due to the heavy traffic of commercial aircrafts. Whereas, uncontrolled aerodromes have very little traffic, or no traffic at all. Fourth, quality of training. Along with the quantity of instructors, the quality also holds equal importance. It is advisable to choose an established flight school, which has been in the training industry for a long time. The flight school should have its own training facility, with all the necessary equipment such as classrooms, briefing rooms, library, and enough personnel to cover the training requirements. It is the instructor who will teach you initially to fly an aircraft. Factors such as instructor's knowledge, experience, teaching skills, does the flying school follows the proper required procedures, etc., are the things you should take note of. Having working flight training devices, or flight simulators, are an advantage. As mental health is of utmost importance for a pilot, the training environment is paramount. Fifth, aircraft maintenance facility. As a human body needs a doctor for regular checkups, an aircraft needs a maintenance engineer and a good maintenance facility for its smooth function. Aircraft maintenance is required to ensure the airworthiness of an aircraft or its part, including overhaul, inspection, replacement, defect rectification, and the embodiment of modifications, to be done in compliance with the airworthiness directives. So, without a proper maintenance facility, the flying training can come to a complete halt. Sixth, availability of CFI or deputy CFI. A flying club cannot be operated without a chief flight instructor or a deputy chief flight instructor. A CFI or a deputy CFI authorizes every training flight in the flying school, and without any one of them no aircraft can take off. They are responsible for flight safety. They have the authorization to take the necessary checks and tests of a trainee pilot during the end of his or her training. So, you must make sure that the flying club has at least one of them. Seventh, fake loggings. It may happen sometimes that the flying club may overlog or underlog your flight sortie duration. For example, for a 2-hour sortie, it might happen that the flying club might log 3 hours on paper, or for a 3 hours the flying club might log 2 hours on paper. Both cases are not allowed and is illegal. Fortunately, this type of ill practices has been reduced in recent years. The last thing to consider is the accommodation and food facilities available in the Flying Academy. You should take note that, whether the flying school provides hostels or apartments for its students. If they do, then make sure it is near the training center, so that the traveling time is minimum. Finally, we all know that health is wealth, so having good quality food is also important. One should also consider the food facility provided by the academy. Otherwise, will indirectly affect your flying training. These were the factors you should note before selecting a flying school for your training. Now, answering the most asked question. Which flying school is best in India? The answer is none. It is not necessary that costly flying school provides you with the best training, or the cheapest flying school will provide you with a low-quality training. It all depends on your requirements, your budget, your preferred location, and the time at which you join a flying club. This means that, if you select a flying school having more aircrafts, but having too many students at the same time, you will end up increasing your training duration. On the other hand, if you select a flying school having less aircrafts and few students, then this could be beneficial to you. In conclusion, you should inquire about every point discussed in the video before selecting a flying school. Information of all these factors can be easily obtained by contacting the admission department or the trainee pilots undergoing their training at that time.
Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found this video informative and helpful. Do like and share this video, and subscribe to Aviation 360 for more. If you have any questions, you can ask us in the comment section below. Thank you.